everyone. It's the boy Young LA, Mr. A9. We in here with my personal partner, Mikey T, the movie star. You see what I'm saying? And this report card radio, so you need to tap in, turn it up, get your grades up. Let's go.
So, can you take me into where your relationship with T.I. began?
My relationship with T.I. began at Grand Hustle Studios, the old Grand Hustle Studio, which is now Street Exec Studio. But that's where my relationship began. Actually, man, it's so crazy. The first day I ever seen T.I.P in person, I was there to meet everybody at Grand Hustle. Dro had brought me up to the studio. I had my one mixtape on me. You know what I'm saying? Because at this time, it's T.I., man. So it's like I'm a kid in the candy store, like, waiting to, you know what I'm saying? I got my mixtape. It's like, oh, shit, you know what I mean? And actually, I walked in the B room, and I was sitting in the B room, and T.I.P walked in the B room. He didn't know me at that point, but, you know, his first words were, he threw up the peace sign, like, yo, bro, what up? You know what I mean? And walked back out the room. But this was my first time seeing him. And that's where the relationship began. Because, like I say, I was at Grand Hustle to play the mixtape that had caught Dro attention. You know what I'm saying? For all the executives at Grand Hustle. At this time, I'm still in the projects, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm still in Thomasville Heights. I'm still in Zone 3. Dro came to get me, and we went up to the studio. We played the records, and that day, man, I solidified myself. You know what I'm saying? That day was a big step for me. That day was a big day for my career. You know what I'm saying? It was the introduction, and it was the rollout for me. And I felt like at that time, I mean, man, T.I. was the biggest. You know, like that was the, the biggest. You talking about being signed with an artist and a professional. To have a chance to experience being signed with a guy like T.I. At that time was irreplaceable experience. You know what I'm saying? I can't say enough, but I know I had the star power and I was where I was supposed to be. And I tell you what, when I signed that deal with Grand Hustle, no shortly than eight months later, the world knew who I was. The world knew I had the potential. Not just T.I., not just Young Dro. So everything they thought about me and everything they seen in me, they were correct about it. I was the star they seen. And it started to show all over the Billboard charts and everywhere in the entertainment industry.
How did you go on to form a relationship with this guy and later go on to record A9?
Well, a lot of that shit came from me already putting in work in the streets. See, I came up in an era where you had to go to 3 or 4 clubs a night. You couldn't be hot in Atlanta if nobody seen you. It's different now with, the social media and the tools that you got. You can hide behind social media. You really don't got to come out and network in the streets. Well, man, when I came up, my era, if you didn't go to 3 clubs a night, you was not hot in Atlanta. If the city didn't see you at 3 different spots and you weren't then you weren't hot, because the guys who was hot was the guys who did the leg work. So what I mean when I say that is we had put in so much leg work on A9. If you remember, it was 3 versions of A9. Before T.I. and Dro even got on A9, the first version was me and Dashay. Me and Dashay. And Dashay is like Dro's cousin. Because at this time, I was just signed to Grand Hustle, and I was basically stuck in the recording room and told to produce. That's basically what it was. Like, everybody wanted to see, okay, we signed this guy. What can he produce? What can he do? And so a lot of my sessions, Dro wouldn't be there because he was hot at the time. You had Best Thing smoking, like he out of town, he doing shows. T.I.P busy, they gone. I'm just the new guy in the studio recording cuts. But I tell you what, one day me and Dashay recorded this cut called A9, and shit ain't never been the same for me ever again in my life. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
When me and Dashay recorded that record, we knew we had one. And so T.I.P had a club called Crucial. It's the infamous club in Atlanta called Club Crucial. It's on Bankhead Highway. Well, me and Shay decide, hey, we're going to go make sure we perform this in Crucial. So what started to happen, every time we performed the record, the response was so crazy. And it went from me doing the Grand Hustle open mics, and I would win every, 3, 4, 2 months straight. Like, A9 was we breaking it. And by the time we had a short situation with that Shay ended up going down the road, you know what I'm saying? And he had to go do some time. And Grand Hustle made an executive decision to take Dashay off the record and now put Big Country on the record. You watching Ain't Not unfold in front of your eyes. So now Big Country is on the record. So now I actually have a Grand Hustle artist on the record with me.
PSC.
Big Country King. Shout out to PSC, Pimp Squad Click. Because at that time, Big Country King and PSC, they was on fire. You know what I'm saying? That was Pimp Squad Click. I grew up listening to Big Country and Matt Bowman. You know what I'm saying? Listening to PSC. Seeing how they came up. And when Country got on that, it kept growing. So what happened was when Big Country got on the record, I started going on the road immediately with Big Country. I was getting $1,500, $2,000 a show, and people didn't even know it. Like, it was like Tip and Dro, like, hold on, he already getting paid show? You know what I'm saying? And I mean, when that song came on Country Set, it did the same thing every time that it did, every time I performed it. It went crazy. And from there, once the record got so big, it got to the radio. Like, they started playing it in the mix shows on the radio stations. It just started spreading, bro. And and you know, it spread enough to catch the attention of Dro and T.I. You know what I'm saying? And when it got to that level, you know, it was like they had no choice but to come get on that song because it just made sense for business at that time, you know. And when them guys jumped on it, we had #1 song in the country.